I'd like to hear any reasonable argument for why a violent criminal who killed an innocent father deserves half the time behind bars than the January 6th offenders, many of whom aren't even accused of violence. The left-wing district attorneys and judges are dismantling the constitutional foundations of the United States as we once knew them, and it's a truly scary time in America. Here now to assess the double standard, former Alaska Governor Sara Palin, governor, blown away by these sentences, 15, 17, and 18 years for nonviolent crimes. What do you say to all these lefties?
It's so disheartening, the examples that you've given, Eric. It makes the populace lose a lot of faith in our government, and that's an understatement. Unfortunately, what this leads to, when we recognize the examples that you just gave, the two-tier different justice systems that apply according to politics, it makes the good guy think, what's the use in being a good guy? We're going to be punished. We're picked on is what we are under the system, but we can't feel helpless and hopeless. We have to remember that we have three equal branches of government, right? And Congress has a lot to do with what's going on in the judiciary. Congress can't keep sitting back, especially Republicans in the majority in some of these areas. Eric, they can't sit back and just let all of this happen, because it is dismantling of our traditional judicial system, where Lady Liberty and Lady Justice, she's to be blind, right? And politics are not to have anything to do with this. So we need to pressure Congress, our representatives, and remind them that they do have tools. The Constitution has empowered them to be equal to what's going on in the judiciary, and they need to exercise that power, or we're going under, Eric. It's tragic. It's more than disheartening what's going on.
Joe Biggs was a producer for Alex Jones. You know the guy very well. Got a young daughter, has a mother with cancer, gets 17 years, I believe, behind bars. He missed 17 Christmases with his daughter. For what? Because he walked inside the Capitol. There's no evidence, and I haven't seen all the tapes, would love to. By the way, send them to us. But there's no evidence he was violent of any nature whatsoever. But, Governor, do you think this has to do with them trying to take Trump down because they really need to apply January 6th to some sort of sedition or some sort of threat to democracy in order to get Trump down? If they don't, then it was just a day of rioting, of protesting at the Capitol.
100%. It's all about taking Trump down. They had to grab onto something, right? And they were even able to hijack the terminology being used that is commonplace now when we talk about January 6th. The definition of insurrection, that's all about violence. That's overthrowing a government. And here, that now is in just, commonplace vernacular. It's being used. It wasn't an insurrection on those people who wanted to get into the Capitol and exercise their right to protest, to voice their opinion. And the ones who were not violent, including some of the examples that you've given, they end up in jail, they end up in prison, and they were not violent. It was not an insurrection. But for them to be able then to get in the psyche collectively of the populace by using terms like that, we shouldn't have even let it get that far. People in the news should have busted the hijacking of the language, of the verbiage used right off the bat.
Corrected people. Very quickly, Governor, only about 20 seconds or so. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, gets threatened by some lunatic. Calls her up, leaves messages on her phone in Congress, says, I'm going to take you out. The guy's getting 3 months. He's getting 3 months behind bars. And these people who just walked through the Capitol, someone just literally walked through the Capitol after being escorted in by Capitol Police, are going away for years. Just final thought.
Yeah. Okay, and that's the point. Many of them were escorted in by Capitol Police. More and more will be exposed on this. More tapes, more video will come out because too many of these people who were just exercising their right and voicing their opinion, getting busted for that. It's absolutely tragic.
Crazy. Governor Sara Palin, thank you so much for your time. You're always right on target. See what I did there?
Thank you.